What would you do if the daughter you raised alone drained your pension account and vanished to the seaside while you counted coins for bread? Would you forgive her when she returned tanned and laughing, expecting you to beg? Or would you introduce her to the one person whose very existence made her blood run cold? My name is Frank Caldwell, and I'm 58 years old. I spent 32 years at the Toledo auto plant before taking early retirement. My knees were shot, and the night shifts were getting harder every year. I raised my daughter Jessica alone after my wife Ellen died back in 1992. Jessica was only 5 then. I did everything for that girl. Worked doubles so she could have what she needed. Skipped meals so she could eat what she wanted. Drove a beater truck so she could have a laptop for college. I thought that's what fathers did. I thought love meant sacrifice. I was wrong about a lot of things. It was a Tuesday night in March when my world came apart. Jessica had been living with me for 3 months. She said she needed time to figure things out after losing her last job. She was 31 and still figuring things out. The house felt less empty with her around, so I didn't mind. She slept in her old bedroom with the band posters still on the walls. Late at night, I'd hear her on the phone with her boyfriend Brandon, laughing about something. I never liked Brandon much. He had this way of looking at you like everyone else was stupid, and he was the only smart one in the room. Lived in his mom's basement and talked about crypto like it was going to make him a millionaire any day. That Tuesday, I went to bed around 10 like always. My pension check had come in that morning, $2,400. I'd deposited it at the bank, bringing my savings up to $7,200. 3 months of careful saving. The property tax was due next month, and the furnace needed work before winter, but I had it covered. I felt good about that. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I sleep heavy because of the pain pills for my knees. I didn't hear Jessica come into my room that night. She must have taken my wallet off the dresser and pulled out my debit card. She knew my PIN. I'd given it to her months ago when I asked her to pick up groceries. I trusted her. She was my daughter. Wednesday morning, I woke up and made coffee. Jessica's door was closed. I figured she was sleeping in. I went to make breakfast and realized I was low on eggs and bread. Grabbed my wallet to head to the store. My debit card was missing. I checked my pants pockets, the kitchen counter, everywhere. Then this cold feeling spread through my chest like ice water in my veins. I called the bank automated line. Your current balance is $47.18. I stood there frozen. Called again, thinking it was a mistake. Your current balance is $47.18. My hands started shaking. I drove to First Merit Bank on Monroe Street and sat in the parking lot until they opened at 9. My chest felt tight. The assistant manager, Gloria, had set up my account when I retired. I walked up to her desk. Gloria, something's wrong with my account. Can you check it? She pulled it up on her computer. Her face changed. Oh, no. Frank, when did you last check your balance? Yesterday morning. I had $7,200 in there. She turned the monitor toward me. You've had 10 ATM withdrawals over the last 8 days, all in Miami Beach, Florida. $700 each time, the maximum daily amount. I stared at the screen. Miami Beach, over and over. All my savings, gone. Gloria, I've never been to Miami in my life. Someone used your card. They had your PIN. Each transaction shows as authorized. She looked at me with these sad eyes. Frank, you need to file a police report right away. We'll investigate, but it takes time. And if the PIN was entered correctly? She didn't finish, but I understood. They might not give me the money back. I drove to the library on Jefferson Avenue because I don't have internet at home. My mind was racing. Jessica had my card. Jessica knew my PIN, but she wouldn't. She couldn't. I logged into a computer and opened Instagram, found Jessica's account. Public. She posted everything there. And there she was. Miami Beach. palm trees and blue water, fancy restaurants with white tablecloths, a hotel room with an ocean view, cocktails with little umbrellas, her face tan and smiling. Brandon was in some of the photos too, both of them looking like they didn't have a care in the world. I scrolled through the posts. Each one made my stomach turn. One photo showed her by a pool holding a bright pink drink. The caption read, "Finally cutting off dead weight. Sometimes you have to choose yourself." 300 likes. Comments from her friends saying, "You go girl," and "Toxic people don't deserve your energy." Another photo from a nightclub. Bottles on the table with sparklers. The kind of place that charges $800 just to sit down. Caption: "Life's too short to feel guilty about living your best life." Then I saw the most recent one, posted 2 hours ago. She was on an airplane. The photo showed her feet up on the seat in front of her. The caption made my blood run cold. "Your old man's probably feeling sorry for himself right now. Spoiler alert, not my problem anymore. Sometimes you gotta do what's best for you." I screenshot every post, saved them all. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely use the mouse. I drove home in a daze. The house was quiet. Jessica's bedroom door still closed. I went through the pantry. Some canned soup, crackers, a box of pasta, maybe a week of food if I was really careful. Checked my wallet. $70 cash. That was everything I had until my next pension check in 3 weeks. I sat at the kitchen table trying to process it. My daughter had stolen from me, taken everything I saved, left me with nothing, and she was in Miami celebrating like it was the best decision she ever made. My phone buzzed. Text from Jessica. "Dad, can you Venmo me $200? Need it for something. I'll pay you back, promise." I stared at that message. She'd taken $7,200 and now wanted $200 more. She actually thought I'd just send it. Like I was that easy. Like I was that stupid. Another buzz. Email from the bank. Overdraft notice. $35 fee. A restaurant charge from Miami had tried to process. She'd tried to use my card again even after draining the account completely. I looked at the photos of Ellen on the wall. At the macaroni art Jessica made in 3rd grade that I'd framed and hung over the sink. Thought about every sacrifice, every extra shift, every time I said yes when I should have said no. Then I picked up my phone and dialed the Toledo Police Department. The operator answered. "Toledo Police, what's your emergency?" "It's not an emergency exactly. I need to report a theft." "What was stolen, sir?" "My daughter took my debit card and drained my bank account. $7,200. She's in Miami Beach right now spending it." Pause on the line. "Your daughter?" "Yes, ma'am. I have bank records. I have proof she's in Miami. I want to file charges." "I'll send an officer to take your statement. What's your address?" I gave it to her. She said someone would be there within the hour. Asked if I was in immediate danger. I almost laughed. "No, ma'am, I'm not in danger. I'm just done." I hung up and sat there. The refrigerator hummed in the quiet. Somewhere in Miami, Jessica was probably at brunch or getting her nails done. She had no idea what was coming. She thought I was weak, thought I was predictable, thought dads always forgive. She was about to find out how wrong she was. The cop who showed up looked about 25, young enough to be my son. He had this expression like he'd already heard every sob story in the world and didn't believe half of them. His nameplate said, "Officer Jennings." "Mr. Caldwell, I'm here about a theft report." I let him in. He sat at my kitchen table with his notepad out. I showed him everything. The bank statement with the Miami withdrawals highlighted. The Instagram posts on my phone. The text where Jessica asked for more money after already cleaning me out. He took notes, but I could tell he wasn't really engaged. "So your daughter took your debit card?" "Yes." "And you had given her the PIN before?" "Once, months ago, to pick up groceries." He nodded slowly. "Mr. Caldwell, I have to be honest with you. This looks like a family dispute. She's your daughter. You gave her access to your PIN, A prosecutor's going to have a hard time with this. She stole $7,200 from me. That's not a dispute. I understand you're upset, but maybe you two could work this out without getting the courts involved. Pressing charges against your own child. That's serious. Are you sure you want to go down that road? I looked at this kid in his clean uniform with his whole life ahead of him, and wondered if he'd ever had someone he loved betray him. Officer Jennings, I'm 58 years old. That was 3 months of pension. My property tax is due. My furnace needs repairs. She left me with $47 and then asked for more. So yes, I'm very sure. He sighed. All right, I'll file the report. Someone from Financial Crimes might follow up. Here's your case number. He handed me a card and left. I watched his patrol car pull away. Didn't believe for a second that anything would actually happen. 5 days later, I was at St. Joseph's Church food pantry. First time in my life I'd ever stood in that line. I'd always been the one putting money in the collection basket. Now I was standing there with the people who needed help, waiting for a box of donated food because I couldn't afford groceries. Father Thomas was organizing the distribution. He'd known me and Ellen for 32 years, married us, baptized Jessica, said Ellen's funeral. He saw me in line and his face went pale. Frank, what are you doing here? Same as everyone else, Father. Need some food. He pulled me aside after I got my box. We stood by the parish hall entrance. Frank, what happened? You've never... My daughter cleaned out my bank account and went to Miami. Spent it all partying. The words came out flat, like I was talking about the weather. His expression changed from concern to something harder. Jessica did this? Took my debit card while I was sleeping. $7,200. Everything I'd saved. Dear Lord, have you spoken to her? She's still in Miami. Posts photos every day showing how much fun she's having with my money. Father Thomas was quiet for a moment. Then he said something I wasn't expecting. Frank, do you remember what Ellen said in the hospital before she passed? That stopped me cold. She said a lot of things, Father. She said she was worried about Jessica, that the girl had something in her that scared Ellen, a selfishness. Ellen made me witness something that day, a document. She said it was to protect you. The memory came flooding back. Ellen in that hospital bed, so thin and pale. Her sister Patricia there with papers. Ellen insisting I sign something. I'd been so torn up with grief, I barely read it. I remember Patricia had me sign some papers about the life insurance. It was more than that, Frank. Ellen set up a trust. She told me it had protections in it. For you. Against Jessica, if Jessica ever... He paused. If she ever did exactly what she just did. My heart started pounding. What kind of protections? I don't know the details, but Ellen's sister would. Patricia. She's a lawyer in Chicago. She drew up the documents. I hadn't spoken to Patricia in years. Ellen's younger sister. We'd drifted apart after the funeral. I don't even know if I have her number anymore. I do. Ellen asked me to keep it, just in case. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling her right now. This is exactly what Ellen was afraid of. He stepped away and made the call. I stood there holding my box of donated food, canned vegetables, rice, peanut butter, the kind of food you eat when you have nothing else. Father Thomas came back 5 minutes later. Patricia's flying in tomorrow. She wants to meet with you. She said to tell you one thing. Don't let Jessica know. Not yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Ellen in that hospital. The way she'd looked at 5-year-old Jessica coloring in the corner. The way she'd pulled Patricia close and whispered something I couldn't hear. I'd thought it was just the grief talking, Ellen rambling. I never imagined she was planning something. The next morning, my phone rang. Number I didn't recognize. Mr. Caldwell? This is Detective Brennan with Toledo Police Financial Crimes Unit. Officer Jennings filed a report about your daughter. I'd like to talk to you about it. Can you come down to the station this afternoon? My chest tightened. You're actually looking into it? Yes, sir. What Officer Jennings called a family dispute looks like textbook elder financial exploitation to me. That's a felony. Can you be here at 2? I'll be there. I drove to my buddy Coop's house, Ray Cooper. We'd worked together at the plant for 28 years. He lived 3 blocks away in a house just like mine. Found him in his garage working on his truck. Frank, haven't seen you in a while. You look terrible. Feel terrible too. I told him everything. The whole story. Jessica. Miami. The money. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he just stood there gripping his wrench so hard his knuckles went white. He stopped himself. Sorry. I know she's your kid. But Frank, that's not right. That's not even close to right. I know. What are you going to do? Detectives looking into it, and Ellen's sister is flying in. Apparently Ellen set something up before she died. Some kind of protection. Coop nodded slowly. Ellen was smart. She saw things coming that we didn't. He put down his wrench. Listen, me and the boys from the plant. We've been talking. We heard you were at the food pantry. We're taking up a collection for your property tax. Coop, I can't. You can and you will. We take care of our own. That's what union brothers do. None of us are rich, but we all got a little to spare. He looked at me hard. And Frank, when Jessica comes back, you don't forgive her. You don't let her off easy. You hear me? I hear you. Because if you do, she'll do it again. And next time, it'll be worse. That afternoon, I met Detective Brennan at the police station. She was in her 40s, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense way of talking. We sat in a small interview room. Mr. Caldwell, I've reviewed Officer Jennings's report and I've pulled your bank records. I've also looked at your daughter's social media. She opened a folder. What she did is called elder financial exploitation. It's when someone in a position of trust takes advantage of an elderly person's finances. I'm not elderly. I'm 58. In Ohio, elder abuse statutes apply to anyone over 55. You qualify. She pulled out printouts. These are her Instagram posts. She's documenting the crime in real time. This one here, where she says, "Your old man's probably feeling sorry for himself." That's admission of knowledge. She knows she took your money, and she knows you'd be hurt by it. Can you actually do anything about it? I can file felony charges. Elder exploitation over $5,000 is a third-degree felony. 2 to 5 years potential prison time. She looked at me directly. But I need to know you're serious. Because once we file charges, there's no taking it back. This will go on her record. She'll be arrested. I thought about Jessica at 5 years old. Pigtails and missing teeth. The way she'd climb into my lap and ask me to read her stories. The way she'd hugged me after Ellen's funeral and whispered, "Don't be sad, Daddy." Then I thought about her on that beach in Miami, drinking cocktails while I ate donated canned goods, posting about cutting off dead weight while I couldn't afford my blood pressure medication. I'm serious. File the charges. Detective Brennan nodded. Good. We'll need to build a complete case. I'll need all your financial records, all communications with her, everything. She pulled out a business card. My cell number's on there. You think of anything else, you call me immediately. I left the station feeling like I'd just jumped off a cliff. No turning back now. Patricia called that evening. "Frank, it's Patricia. I'm at the airport. I'll be there in an hour. We need to talk. There's something Ellen set up that you need to know about." Father Thomas mentioned a trust. It's more than a trust, Frank. Ellen knew this might happen. She saw something in Jessica when she was little, something that scared her. Patricia's voice was tight. "I'll explain everything when I get there. But Frank, Jessica's coming home soon, right? Her posts show she's flying back Saturday." "Perfect. Don't contact her. Don't let her know anything's changed. Let her think everything's normal." "Why?" "Because when she walks in that door expecting you to forgive her, that's when everything happens. That's when she finds out what Ellen did. That's when she learns actions have consequences. Patricia's voice had steel in it. Ellen's little sister, the lawyer, the one who never took anyone's garbage. What exactly did Ellen do? You'll see Saturday. Trust me, Frank. Your wife was protecting you from beyond the grave. She knew Jessica might do exactly this, and she made sure Jessica would pay for it. Patricia arrived an hour later driving a rental car. She looked just like Ellen around the eyes. Same sharp intelligence. She carried a leather briefcase and hugged me at the door. Frank, I'm so sorry this happened. Come in. Want some coffee? I need you to find something first. Does Ellen have a blue folder anywhere? She told me she'd leave it somewhere, you'd find it eventually. I thought about it. Ellen had kept important papers in the bedroom dresser, top drawer on her side. I hadn't opened that drawer in years. Too painful. We went upstairs. I pulled open the drawer. Her reading glasses were still there, a bookmark in a book she'd never finish, and a blue folder with "Important for Frank" written on it in her handwriting. Patricia took it carefully. This is it. Let's go downstairs. We sat at the kitchen table. She opened the folder. Inside were legal documents. Papers I'd signed in the hospital in 1992, when I was barely functional with grief. Frank, Ellen created a trust fund when Jessica was 5. She took out a life insurance policy for $125,000. Added to that, the house equity, which is probably $70,000 now. Total estate worth about $200,000. I knew about the life insurance. It was supposed to go to Jessica after I'm gone. That's what you thought. But Ellen added what's called a protection clause. Look here. She pointed to a section of dense legal text. This clause states that if Jessica ever commits elder exploitation or abuse against you while you're alive, she forfeits her entire inheritance immediately. All of it. I stared at the document. Ellen wrote that when Jessica was 5? Ellen saw something, Frank. I was there in the hospital when she talked about it. She said Jessica had been acting strange after Ellen got sick. Taking things without asking, lying about it, throwing tantrums when she didn't get her way. Ellen said it reminded her of someone. Her own father. Patricia's voice dropped. Ellen's father was financially abusive, stole from her mother for years. Ellen grew up watching it. She saw those same patterns starting in Jessica. But she was 5 years old. And Ellen had terminal cancer. She was thinking about the future, about you being alone with a child who might grow up to hurt you. Patricia pulled out another document. She also specified that if the protection clause is activated, the inheritance doesn't just disappear. You can redirect it anywhere you want, any charity, any person, anywhere except Jessica. My hands were shaking. So if we use this clause, Jessica loses everything, the life insurance payout, her share of the house, all of it, gone. And you can give it to whoever you think deserves it more than she does. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Patricia pulled out more papers. I've already called an elder law attorney here in Toledo, Carol Henderson. She's reviewing the case. We can file an emergency petition to activate the protection clause immediately. We have the bank records, the Instagram posts, the police report. It's an airtight case. When? Tomorrow morning, Friday. Judge can review it same day. By Friday afternoon, the trust is frozen and Jessica is cut off. Patricia looked at me seriously. But once we do this, there's no going back. She'll know, and she'll be furious. I thought about Jessica's text asking for $200 more. Thought about her laughing with Brandon in Miami while I stood in the food pantry line. Thought about Ellen dying in that hospital bed, trying to protect me 31 years into the future. Do it. Patricia smiled grimly. Good. Now let's talk about Saturday. When does Jessica get back? She hasn't said exactly, but her Instagram shows she's flying back Saturday afternoon. Perfect. Here's what we're going to do. Patricia pulled out a notepad. You're going to act normal. If she texts, you respond normally. Don't be angry. Don't let on that anything's changed. Let her think she got away with it. Why? Because Detective Brennan is filing felony charges. They'll have an arrest warrant ready, but they want to do it right. They want to arrest her at your house where she feels safe, where she thinks she's won. Patricia's eyes glinted. I'll be here. Hidden. The detective will have plainclothes officers inside. And when Jessica walks in expecting you to beg her to stay, that's when we hit her with everything. You want to ambush her. I want to give her what she deserves, what Ellen knew she'd eventually need. Patricia squeezed my hand. Frank, this isn't cruelty. This is consequences. There's a difference. That night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Ellen's face kept appearing in my mind. The way she'd looked at me in the hospital and said, "Take care of yourself, Frank. Don't let anyone take advantage of you, not even family." I'd thought she was just worried about me being alone. I hadn't realized she was giving me a specific warning about our own daughter. Thursday morning, Coop showed up with Ray Martinez and Leo Wilson, all retired plant guys. They handed me an envelope. "From the Union Brothers," Coop said. $2,400 for your property tax. I tried to refuse, but they wouldn't hear it. "You'd do the same for any of us," Ray said. "That's how it works." Leo nodded. "Besides, we heard what Jessica did. This is our way of saying we got your back. And Frank, Saturday, when she comes home, we're going to be across the street, just watching, just in case. You don't need to—" "Yeah, we do," Coop interrupted, "because you're family, real family, not the kind that steals from you and parties in Miami." They left, and I sat there looking at the envelope. These guys barely knew Jessica, but they knew me. Knew I'd worked beside them for decades. That mattered more than blood. Friday morning at 9, Patricia and I went to Lucas County Probate Court. Carol Henderson, the elder law attorney, met us there. She was mid-50s, sharp suit, carried herself like someone who won cases. "Mr. Caldwell, I've reviewed everything. This is one of the clearest cases of elder exploitation I've ever seen. The Instagram posts alone are damning." She showed us her laptop. She'd compiled every post Jessica made, every caption, every comment, every photo showing her spending my money. This is a prosecutor's dream. She documented her own crime. We went before Judge Markham. Emergency hearing. Patricia presented the trust document. Carol presented the evidence. The judge read through everything carefully, looked at the Instagram posts, read the bank statements. Finally, he looked up at me. "Mr. Caldwell, do you understand what activating this clause means? Your daughter will lose her entire inheritance, everything your wife left for her." "Yes, Your Honor, I understand." "And you're certain you want to proceed?" I thought about Ellen's face in the hospital, about her sister Patricia flying to Toledo to help me, about Coop and the Union Brothers, about Father Thomas and Detective Brennan, all these people who cared, who showed up, who did the right thing. "Your Honor, my wife saw this coming 31 years ago. She tried to protect me. And yes, I'm certain." He signed the order. The trust protection clause was activated immediately. Jessica Caldwell was no longer a beneficiary. Everything would be redirected according to my wishes once this was settled. Patricia and Carol high-fived outside the courthouse. "Now for the fun part," Patricia said. "Detective Brennan is ready. The arrest warrant is prepared. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. when Jessica gets home, everything falls on her head at once." Friday evening, Detective Brennan called. "Mr. Caldwell, we're all set. I'll have 2 plainclothes officers inside your house by 1 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be there at 1:30. We let her walk in, sit down, get comfortable. Then you give us the signal and we make the arrest." "What's the signal?" "Whatever you want. Just something clear." I thought about it. "I'll say I'm done talking. That's when you move in." "Perfect. Mr. Caldwell, one more thing. She's going to beg. She's going to cry. She's going to promise to pay you back. Don't waver. What she did was a crime, a serious one. She needs to face that." "I won't waver." Jessica texted me Friday night. Hey, Dad. Getting back tomorrow around 2. Can you pick me up at the airport? Brandon's coming too. We need to talk to you about something important. I showed Patricia the text. They're coming together? She laughed. Even better. Text her back. Be nice. I typed, Sure, sweetie. I'll be here. Welcome home. She responded with a heart emoji. Patricia shook her head. Unbelievable. She thinks you're a complete pushover. I was, for 31 years. Not anymore. That night I didn't sleep at all. Kept thinking about what tomorrow would bring. Kept seeing Jessica's face when she realized what was happening. Part of me felt sick about it. She was still my daughter. Still that little girl with pigtails. But then I remembered her Instagram post. Your old man's probably feeling sorry for himself. Not my problem anymore. She'd made her choice. Now she'd live with it. Saturday morning came cold and gray. Patricia made coffee while I sat at the kitchen table. The evidence binder she'd prepared sat in front of me. 10 tabs. Every piece of documentation, bank statements, Instagram screenshots, the trust document, the court order, the arrest warrant, everything. At 1 p.m., the plainclothes officers arrived, Detective Mills and Officer Grant. They positioned themselves in the living room and dining room. Not obvious, just there. At 1:30, Detective Brennan arrived, professional, calm. She reviewed the plan one more time. Let them come in, let them sit, let them talk. When you're ready, say the signal. We move fast after that. Patricia positioned herself in the hallway where Jessica wouldn't see her immediately. Strategic placement, maximum impact. 2 p.m. My phone buzzed. Jessica. Uber just dropped us off. Coming in now. I heard the front door open. Jessica's laugh, Brandon's voice, footsteps in the hallway. They walked into the kitchen. Jessica was tan, hair perfect. Designer sunglasses pushed up on her head. Brandon behind her wearing expensive sneakers I probably paid for. She smiled at me, bright and fake. Hey, Dad, we're back. God, Miami was amazing. You should see the photos. I didn't stand up, didn't smile, just looked at her. Sit down, Jessica. Her smile faltered a little. Okay? You feeling all right? She sat. Brandon sat next to her, both looking confused now. I opened the evidence binder, turned it toward them. First page, bank statement with every Miami ATM withdrawal highlighted in yellow. Jessica's face went pale. Dad, I can explain. No. My voice came out cold, harder than I'd ever spoken to her before. You talked for 10 days, on Instagram, about what a burden I am, about cutting off dead weight. I'm done listening to you talk. I turned the page, her own Instagram screenshots, every photo, every caption, every mocking comment. Dad, please, those were just what? Just jokes? Just you spending my entire savings while I couldn't afford food? I turned another page, pharmacy records showing I couldn't buy my medication. Just you living your best life while I stood in line at a church food pantry for the first time in my life? Brandon shifted in his seat. Mr. Caldwell, listen. There was a plan. Shut up, I said to him. Didn't even look at him. Kept my eyes on Jessica. You stole $7,200 from me. You left me with $47, and then you asked for $200 more. Jessica was crying now, mascara running. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'll pay you back, I swear. Brandon said he could invest it and… Brandon lost it, Detective Brennan said, stepping forward from the living room. Lost it all gambling on cryptocurrency. We pulled his bank records. The money's gone. Jessica's head snapped around, saw the detective, saw the badges. Her face went from tan to white in seconds. Dad, who are these people? Police. I turned more pages in the binder. This is Detective Brennan. She's been investigating you for elder financial exploitation. That's a felony. A felony? Dad, no, please. Jessica stood up fast, chair scraped. I didn't exploit you. I'm your daughter. Tell them. You're my daughter who committed a crime. I turned another page. This is the police report. Case number 247731. Filed last week. Active investigation. Brandon was looking around now, seeing the other officers, seeing the trap close. "Are we under arrest?" he asked nervously. "Not yet," Detective Brennan said calmly. "But we have questions for you, Mr. Walsh, about where the money went, about your role in this." Jessica grabbed my arm. "Dad, please, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Don't do this to me." I pulled my arm away, turned another page. "This is from Father Thomas at St. Joseph's. Witness statement describing my condition when I showed up at the food pantry. Describes how I looked, how thin, how desperate." More pages. Neighbor statements. Mrs. Patterson next door describing how she'd heard me on the phone with the bank, how worried she'd been. Mr. Martinez across the street describing how my lights had been off most evenings because I was trying to save on electric. "Dad, stop, please." Jessica was sobbing now, full breakdown. "I get it, I was wrong, I'm sorry." I looked at her, really looked at her, saw the fake tan, the expensive manicure, the designer clothes. "You're not sorry. You're caught. There's a difference." Then I reached the final document, the blue folder, Ellen's trust. "Do you remember your mother?" Jessica blinked through tears. "What? Of course I do." "Do you remember what she said before she died?" She said she loved us. She also said she was protecting me. From you." I showed her the trust document, watched her try to read through tears, watched her not understand at first, then watched understanding hit. "What is this?" Patricia stepped into the kitchen. Jessica saw her and gasped. "Aunt Patricia?" "Hello, Jessica," Patricia said coldly. "I wrote that document in 1992. Your mother asked me to. She was protecting your father from exactly what you just did." "What does it say?" Jessica's voice was barely a whisper. "It says that if you ever exploit or abuse your father financially, you lose your entire inheritance. All of it. The life insurance, the house, everything." Patricia smiled without warmth. "We activated it yesterday. Judge Markham approved it. You're cut off." Jessica's mouth opened. No sound came out at first. Then, "You can't do that. That's my inheritance. Mom left that for me." "No," I said quietly. "Your mother left it for you if you took care of me, if you treated me with respect, if you didn't steal from me and leave me to starve." I closed the binder. "You failed. You lose everything." "Dad!" Jessica screamed it. Full tantrum, like when she was 5 and didn't get what she wanted. "You can't do this to me. I'm your daughter. And you're a thief." Detective Brennan pulled out handcuffs. "Jessica Caldwell, you're under arrest for elder financial exploitation in the 3rd degree, theft over $5,000, and identity fraud." The room went silent except for Jessica's sobbing. Brennan moved toward her. Jessica backed away. No, Dad, please. Tell them to stop. I'll do anything." "You had 10 days to do something. You spent it in Miami making fun of me on Instagram." Brennan cuffed her hands behind her back, read her Miranda rights. Jessica wasn't listening, just crying and saying, "Dad, please," over and over. Brandon stood up. "Am I under arrest too?" "Not yet," Brennan said. "But you're coming to the station for questioning. About the money, about your role in encouraging this, about the 3 other women who filed fraud complaints against you last year." Brandon's face went gray. "What other women?" "We'll discuss it downtown." Officer Grant moved toward him. "And Mr. Walsh, we're getting a warrant for your bank records and computer, so if there's anything you want to tell us now, this is your chance." Brandon looked at Jessica. Jessica looked at Brandon. You could see it happen in real time, the turning on each other. "This is your fault," Brandon hissed at her. "If you hadn't been so dramatic posting everything online." "My fault?" Jessica shrieked. "You told me to take the money. You said you'd double it. You promised. I didn't tell you to steal from your own father. You said he owed me. You said he was holding me back." They were screaming at each other now. in my kitchen, in handcuffs, blaming each other while the police stood there watching. Detective Brennan looked at me. Signal? I stood up slowly, looked at Jessica one more time. My daughter, the girl I'd raised alone, the girl I'd sacrificed everything for. She was still screaming, still crying, still demanding, still taking no responsibility. I'm done talking, I said. Detective Brennan nodded to the other officers. They moved in smoothly, professional. Officer Grant took Brandon's arm. Detective Mills secured Jessica. Jessica was still sobbing. Dad, please. You can't let them do this. I'm your little girl. Remember? Remember how you used to read me stories? Remember how I'd sit in your lap? I did remember. I remembered all of it. Every story, every laugh, every hug, every sacrifice, every time I chose her over myself. I remember everything, I said quietly, including the last 10 days. I'll pay you back, every penny, I swear on Mom's grave. That made me stop, made something cold settle in my chest. Don't you dare bring your mother into this. Your mother knew this would happen. She knew 31 years ago. She tried to protect me from you. Patricia stepped forward holding the court order. This is from yesterday. Lucas County Probate Court. Trust Protection Clause activated. Jessica Caldwell removed as beneficiary effective immediately. Total inheritance forfeited. $195,000. Jessica's legs buckled. Brennan had to hold her up. 195? She couldn't finish. That's everything. The life insurance, the house, all of it. Yes, Patricia said simply. Where does it go? I hadn't decided until that moment. But looking at her face, seeing her only caring about the money even now, it became clear. Father Thomas's food pantry, the place I had to go when you left me without food, and the Union Hardship Fund, for families of guys I worked with who need help. I paused. People who actually help others instead of stealing from them. No! Jessica lunged toward me. Brennan held her back. Dad, you can't. That's my money. Mom left it for me. Your mother left it for you on the condition that you didn't do exactly what you just did. My voice was steady now. No shaking. No doubt. You made your choice. In Miami. On Instagram. Every time you posted about cutting off dead weight and choosing yourself. The front door opened. Coop walked in. Then Ray. Then Leo. More guys from the plant. Mrs. Patterson from next door. The Martinez family across the street. Father Thomas. All of them filing into my small house. Bearing witness. Jessica saw them, and her face crumpled. Why are all these people here? They wanted to see this, Coop said, his voice like gravel. They wanted to watch someone finally stop you. But I'm his daughter. And he's the man who worked himself to the bone for you, Coop shot back. The man who ate 1 meal a day so you could have 3. The man who drove a beater truck so you could have a laptop. Where were you when he needed you? I made a mistake. You made a choice, Father Thomas said quietly. There's a difference. A mistake is something you regret immediately. A choice is something you celebrate on Instagram. Jessica looked around the room at all these faces. These working-class people from my neighborhood. These people she'd always thought were beneath her. People she'd called blue-collar like it was an insult. You're all against me. We're all for Frank, Mrs. Patterson said. We brought him food when you left him hungry. We paid his property tax when you spent his savings. We showed up. Where were you? No answer. Just more crying. Detective Brennan checked her watch. Time to go. Transport's outside. They led Jessica toward the door. She was still looking back at me. Still crying. Still begging. Dad, please, don't let them take me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. For a second, I almost wavered. Almost felt that old instinct to protect her. To fix everything. To sacrifice myself again. Then I remembered her text. Can you Venmo me $200? Then I remembered her Instagram caption. Your old man's probably feeling sorry for himself. Not my problem anymore. You should have thought of that before you got on a plane to Miami, I said. They took her outside. The whole neighborhood was there now. People on porches, people on sidewalks, not protesting, not shouting, just watching, silent witnesses. In working-class neighborhoods, this kind of thing mattered. Everyone would know what she did. Everyone would know what happened. Brandon was next. Officer Grant walked him out in cuffs. He was quieter than Jessica, already calculating, already thinking about lawyers and deals. "Mr. Walsh," Detective Brennan said as they reached the transport van. "We found 3 other victims willing to testify. Women you convinced to invest in cryptocurrency. Women you scammed out of their savings. This isn't just about Frank anymore." Brandon's face went white. "I want a lawyer." Smart choice. They loaded them both into separate transport vans. Jessica was still crying, still looking back at the house, at me standing on the porch, at all the neighbors watching. The vans pulled away. The street was quiet except for Jessica's muffled screaming getting fainter as they drove toward the police station. I stood there on my porch, Patricia beside me, the blue folder in her hands, Ellen's trust document, Ellen's protection, Ellen's love reaching across 31 years to save me. "It's done," Patricia said softly. I looked at her. Ellen's sister, the aunt who flew in from Chicago the moment she heard, the lawyer who'd drawn up the trust in 1992 because Ellen had asked her to, the family that actually showed up. "Thank you for coming. Ellen would have wanted me to. She always said if anything happened with Jessica, I had to help you. She made me promise." Patricia wiped her eyes. She knew Frank. She saw it coming when Jessica was 5 years old. Ellen grew up with a father who stole from the family. She recognized the signs. I didn't want to believe it. "Of course you didn't. She's your daughter. But Ellen was protecting you from exactly this, from being exploited by your own child." Patricia squeezed my shoulder. "You did the right thing. The hard thing, but the right thing." The neighbors started to disperse. Coop and the guys came back inside. Mrs. Patterson brought over a casserole. The Martinez family brought bread. Father Thomas stayed to talk. We all sat in my living room, the evidence binder still on the table, the trust document visible, everything documented, everything proven. "What happens now?" I asked Detective Brennan. "She'll be processed, arraigned probably Monday or Tuesday, bond hearing, then trial or plea deal." Brennan closed her notepad. "With this much evidence, Frank? Her lawyer's going to tell her to take a plea. She's looking at probation plus mandatory restitution. She'll have to pay back every penny." "What about Brandon?" "He's facing multiple counts of fraud now. The other victims came forward once they heard about your case. He's looking at real prison time." Brennan stood. "You did good today, Frank. Most people in your situation don't press charges. They let family walk all over them. You stood up." After she left, it was just me and Coop and Father Thomas and Patricia. "Are you okay?" Patricia asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't know. She's still my daughter. Part of me feels like I just destroyed her life." "No," Father Thomas said firmly. "She destroyed her own life. You just stopped enabling her. There's a difference." "He's right," Coop added. "Frank, you gave that girl everything. Everything. She took it all and wanted more. She'd have bled you dry and then complained you didn't have anything left to give." I knew they were right, but it still hurt. Probably always would. That night, after everyone left, I sat in my recliner. The house was quiet again. I looked at Ellen's photo on the mantel, her smile, her eyes, the woman who'd loved me enough to protect me from beyond the grave. "You knew," I said to the photo. "You always knew. Thank you." The next morning my phone rang, number I didn't recognize. I answered. "Mr. Caldwell, this is Martin Bishop. I'm Jessica's court-appointed attorney. She asked me to call you." "I don't want to talk to her." I understand. But she wanted me to tell you she's sorry. She's willing to plead guilty. She wants to know if you'll ask the prosecutor to go easy on her. I was quiet for a long moment. Mr. Bishop, what did she say exactly when she asked you to call? He hesitated. She said, if you drop the charges, she'll pay you back. She said you'd always forgiven her before. There it was. Not actually sorry. Just trying to manipulate me again, even from jail. Tell her no. Mr. Caldwell. Tell her I'm done. Tell her she's on her own. Tell her to think about that the next time she wants to post something on Instagram. I hung up. Patricia called an hour later. Frank, we need to finalize where the trust money goes. You said Father Thomas's food pantry and the Union Hardship Fund? Want to make that official? Yes. Split it evenly. $97,000 to the food pantry. $98,000 to the Union Fund. I'll draw up the papers. Oh, and Frank? Jessica's been calling me from jail, leaving messages, crying, begging me to convince you to drop everything. What did you tell her? I told her Ellen would be ashamed of her. I told her actions have consequences. Then I blocked her number. Patricia's voice was steel. I love my sister. I love you. But Jessica? She's on her own now. She made her choices. That week was strange. Detective Brennan called with updates. Brandon was still in custody. Couldn't make bail. The other fraud victims were testifying. He was looking at 3 to 5 years. Jessica made bail. Her friend posted it. $5,000. She was out, but her phone kept blowing up. People from Instagram had seen the arrest. It went viral. Local news picked it up. Influencer arrested for stealing from elderly father. Comments were brutal. One article interviewed neighbors. Mrs. Patterson told them everything. How she'd seen me struggling. How Jessica had driven up in expensive Ubers. How the whole neighborhood had watched it unfold. Jessica deleted all her social media. Too late. People had screenshots. Her face was everywhere. 31 years old, arrested for stealing from her widowed father. No one was on her side. Friday afternoon, Father Thomas came by. Frank, I've been thinking about what to do with the trust money. The food pantry serves about 50 families a week right now. With that money, we could expand, serve 200 families, maybe more. His eyes were bright. Ellen's legacy helping people she never met. That's beautiful. She'd like that. I'm going to put a plaque on the pantry building, Ellen Caldwell Memorial Fund, so everyone knows where it came from, so your wife's kindness lives on. Saturday morning, exactly 1 week after the arrest, there was a knock on my door. I opened it carefully. Jessica stood there. No makeup. Hair pulled back. She looked terrible. Thin. Pale. Scared. Dad, can I come in? Every instinct screamed no, but I stepped aside. She sat at the kitchen table, same chair she'd sat in when she got arrested. Looked at the spot where the evidence binder had been. I'm pleading guilty, she said quietly. My lawyer says with the evidence you have, I'd lose at trial, so I'm taking the plea deal. 3 years probation, full restitution, $7,200 plus interest. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Jessica? I don't know. That you forgive me? That we can fix this? Her voice broke. Dad, I'm so sorry. I was stupid. Brandon convinced me it would be okay, that you'd forgive me, that you always do. And you believed him. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe there were no consequences. Tears now. But there are. I lost everything. The inheritance. My reputation. People online are destroying me. My friends won't talk to me. I can't get a job because my arrest shows up on Google. I'm living in a shelter because no one will rent to me. Part of me wanted to feel sorry for her. Part of me still loved her. But I remembered Father Thomas's words. Enabling versus consequences. What do you want from me, Jessica? I want my dad back. I want another chance. I want to show you I can change. You had chances. Hundreds of them. For 31 years. I looked at her directly. You texted me asking for more money after you'd already stolen everything. That wasn't a mistake. That was who you are. Who I was. I'm different now. Because you got caught. Not because you felt guilty. She had no answer for that. Jessica, I can't help you anymore. The trust money is going to charity. The inheritance is gone. You're on probation. You'll pay restitution. And after that? I shrugged. You're on your own. Like I was when you left me with $47. So you're just done with me? Your own daughter? I'm done enabling you. There's a difference. You made your choices. In Miami, on Instagram, every time you chose yourself over everyone else. Now you live with the results. She stood up. Face hard now. The tears gone. Fine. You know what? You'll regret this. When you're old and sick and need someone. When you're alone. You'll wish you had forgiven me. I'd been waiting for this. The real Jessica. The one beneath the tears and apologies. I'm already old, Jessica. I'm already sick. My knees are shot. My blood pressure's high. 2 weeks ago when I needed help, where were you? Silence. You were on a beach, posting about choosing yourself, drinking $20 cocktails while I couldn't afford bread. I stood too. So no, I won't regret this, because I already know what being alone feels like. I know what it's like when my own daughter abandons me. And you know what? The neighbors brought me food. The guys from the plant paid my property tax. Father Thomas made sure I didn't starve. I wasn't alone. You just weren't there. Jessica's face twisted. You turned everyone against me. No, you did that yourself. Every Instagram post, every caption, every time you mocked me for being old or poor or blue collar, people saw who you really were. That's on you. She walked to the door, stopped, looked back. I hope you're happy. I'm not happy, but I'm okay. And that's more than I was 2 weeks ago when you left me with nothing. She slammed the door on her way out. I heard her car start, heard her drive away. I sat back down at the kitchen table, the same table where Ellen and I had eaten breakfast for 15 years, where I'd helped Jessica with homework, where we'd celebrated birthdays and holidays, where everything had fallen apart and been rebuilt. My phone rang. Patricia. Frank, just got the final paperwork. The trust is officially dissolved. The money's being transferred. $97,000 to St. Joseph's Food Pantry. $98,000 to the UAW Hardship Fund. It's done. Ellen's wishes are fulfilled. Thank you, Patricia, for everything. Ellen would be proud of you. You did what needed to be done. That takes courage. After we hung up, I sat there for a long time, looking at Ellen's photo, thinking about the last 2 weeks, thinking about the last 31 years. Then I got up and made dinner, real dinner. The guys from the plant had brought groceries. I had food in the pantry again, money in the bank. The property tax was paid. The furnace was getting fixed next week. Everything was okay. Not perfect, but okay. Monday morning, I woke up to my phone ringing. Detective Brennan. Mr. Caldwell, just wanted to update you. Jessica's plea hearing is Wednesday. She's pleading guilty to all charges. You don't have to be there unless you want to make a victim impact statement. Do I have to? No, but it might help if you do. Judge needs to understand what this did to you, how it affected your life. I thought about it. Thought about standing in a courtroom looking at Jessica while she stood there in cuffs. Thought about saying out loud what she'd done. I'll be there. Good. Hearings at 10 a.m., courtroom 3B. I'll meet you there. Wednesday came faster than I expected. Patricia drove up from Chicago again. Coop insisted on coming with me. Father Thomas, too. We all went together. The courthouse was downtown. Old building, marble floors, high ceilings. We found courtroom 3B and sat in the gallery. The room was mostly empty. Just us, Jessica's lawyer, the prosecutor, and a few court staff. Then they brought Jessica in. She was wearing a plain blue dress, hair pulled back, no makeup. She looked young and scared. Nothing like the tanned, confident woman posing in Miami 2 weeks ago. Her eyes found mine across the room. I saw her face crumple for a second before she looked away. The judge entered. Everyone stood. Judge Hartley, Woman in her 60s with steel gray hair and no-nonsense expression. The State of Ohio versus Jessica Ann Caldwell, case number 24-CR7731. She looked at Jessica. Ms. Caldwell, you're here to enter a plea. Do you understand the charges against you? Jessica's voice was barely audible. Yes, Your Honor. Elder financial exploitation in the 3rd degree, a felony. Theft over $5,000, a felony. Identity fraud, a felony. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor. The word hung in the air. Final. No taking it back. Ms. Caldwell, do you understand that by pleading guilty, you waive your right to a trial? You're admitting you committed these crimes. Yes, Your Honor. Very well. Before sentencing, I'd like to hear from the victim. Mr. Caldwell, would you like to make a statement? I stood up. My knees ached. My hands were shaking. I walked to the front and stood at the podium facing the judge. Jessica was 10 feet away. I could hear her breathing. Your Honor, my name is Frank Caldwell. I'm 58 years old. I worked at the Toledo auto plant for 32 years before I retired. I raised my daughter Jessica alone after my wife died when Jessica was 5. I pulled out my notes, things I'd written down the night before. 2 weeks ago, my daughter stole my debit card while I was sleeping. She drained my entire savings, $7,200, 3 months of pension. I woke up with $47 to my name. She took that money and went to Miami Beach with her boyfriend. She stayed in nice hotels. She went to expensive clubs. She posted about it on Instagram, made fun of me for being old and poor. I looked at Jessica. She was crying silently. While she was there, I couldn't afford food. I had to go to a church food pantry for the first time in my life. I couldn't afford my blood pressure medication. My neighbors heard me on the phone with the bank and brought me groceries because they were worried I'd starve. While she was drinking $20 cocktails, I was eating donated canned soup. Judge Hartley was watching me intently. The worst part wasn't the money. The worst part was what she said online. She called me deadweight. She said cutting me off was choosing herself. She said I was probably feeling sorry for myself and that it wasn't her problem anymore. My voice cracked. I raised her alone for 26 years. I worked myself into the ground for her, and she stole from me and then mocked me for being hurt by it. Then she came home expecting me to forgive her, to just let it go like I always did. She didn't think there would be consequences. She thought I was that weak. I paused, took a breath. My wife Ellen died in 1992. Before she died, she set up a trust with a protection clause. She saw something in Jessica even when Jessica was 5 years old. Something that scared her. She created legal protections to prevent Jessica from exploiting me. 31 years ago, my wife was trying to save me from this exact situation. Judge Hartley nodded slowly. Jessica lost her entire inheritance because of what she did. $195,000. That money's going to charity now. To Father Thomas's food pantry where I had to go for help. To the Union Hardship Fund for families who need it. Ellen's money helping people who actually care about others. I looked at the judge directly. Your Honor, I don't want my daughter to go to prison, but I want her to understand what she did. I want her to understand that actions have consequences, that you can't steal from people and expect forgiveness. That family doesn't mean you get to hurt someone without accountability. I sat back down. My hands were still shaking. Coop put his hand on my shoulder. Judge Hartley looked at Jessica. Ms. Caldwell, do you have anything to say? Jessica stood up slowly. Her lawyer whispered something to her. Your Honor, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I was stupid. I hurt my father terribly and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. She was crying hard now. I don't know what I was thinking. Brandon convinced me it would be okay, that we could invest the money and pay it back doubled. I believed him because I wanted to believe there was an easy way out. I wanted to believe I could have what I wanted without consequences. She looked at me. Dad, I'm so sorry. I know you probably can't forgive me, I don't deserve forgiveness. But I want you to know I understand now. I understand what I did. I understand what you sacrificed for me all those years. I took it all for granted. I treated you like you owed me everything. Like I deserved to have whatever I wanted just because I existed. More tears. She could barely get the words out. I lost everything. The inheritance, my friends, my reputation. People online hate me. I can't get a job. I'm living in a shelter, and I deserve all of it because of what I did to you, to the one person who always loved me no matter what. Judge Hartley listened silently. Then she looked at the prosecutor. Sentencing recommendation? The prosecutor stood. Young guy. Professional. Your Honor, the state recommends 3 years supervised probation, mandatory financial counseling, community service, and full restitution of $7,200 plus interest and court fees, total approximately $8,000. Additionally, a no-contact order with the victim unless he initiates contact. The judge nodded, looked at Jessica's lawyer. Defense? Your Honor, we agree to the state's recommendation. My client accepts full responsibility. She wants to pay restitution and rebuild her life. She understands the gravity of what she's done. Judge Hartley reviewed the papers in front of her. The courtroom was silent except for Jessica's quiet crying. Finally, the judge looked up. Ms. Caldwell, what you did was cruel. You exploited your own father's love and trust. You stole from a man who sacrificed everything for you. And then you mocked him publicly while he struggled to survive on what you left him. That kind of behavior shows a profound lack of character. Jessica hung her head. However, I appreciate that you're taking responsibility. You pleaded guilty. You're willing to make restitution. You seem to understand the severity of your actions. The judge paused. I hereby sentence you to 3 years supervised probation. You will complete 200 hours of community service. You will attend mandatory financial counseling. You will pay full restitution of $8,000. You will have no contact with Mr. Caldwell unless he initiates it. If you violate any terms of your probation, you will serve the suspended sentence of 18 months in prison. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. Good. Use these 3 years wisely. Prove you're better than this crime. Prove your father's sacrifices weren't wasted on someone incapable of growth. Court is adjourned. The gavel came down. Jessica turned to look at me one last time. Her eyes were red. Her face was broken. She mouthed the words, "I'm sorry," but made no sound. I nodded once. Acknowledging her but not forgiving her, she'd have to live with that. They let her out through a side door. Her lawyer was explaining something about probation check-ins. She looked back once more before the door closed. Then she was gone. We filed out of the courtroom, Patricia, Coop, Father Thomas, and me, out into the marble hallway, into the bright morning sun. How do you feel? Patricia asked. Empty, I said. But okay, like something that needed to happen, finally happened. Father Thomas nodded. Justice isn't always satisfying, but it's necessary. You did the right thing. I know. Doesn't make it easier. Coop clapped me on the back. Come on, let's get breakfast. My treat. We went to Rosie's Diner, the old place where the plant guys always met. Red vinyl booths and coffee that could strip paint. Leo and Ray were already there. They'd taken off work to be there for me. We sat and ordered. Eggs and bacon and toast. Real food. No more canned soup and crackers. So it's done, Leo said. She pleaded guilty, got probation. Yeah, $8,000 in restitution, 3 years probation, community service. Good. She got off easy if you ask me. Ray sipped his coffee. Could have gone to prison. I didn't want that, I said. I just wanted her to understand, to face consequences, to know she can't treat people like that. You think she learned? Coop asked. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. But that's not my problem anymore. I did what I needed to do. The rest is up to her. We ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Patricia's phone rang. She stepped outside to take it. Came back looking serious. That was Brandon's lawyer. He's pleading guilty, too. To fraud charges from the other victims. He's going to prison. 3 to 5 years. Good, I said simply. His lawyer wanted to know if you'd consider writing a letter asking for leniency. For Brandon. I actually laughed. Tell him no. Patricia smiled. That's what I said. After breakfast, we drove back to my house. Patricia had to get back to Chicago. Father Thomas had a parish council meeting. Coop and the guys needed to get back to their lives. But they'd all shown up. They'd all been there. That mattered more than anything else. Patricia hugged me at the door. You call me if you need anything. Anything at all. Ellen would want me to watch out for you. I will. Thank you, Patricia. For everything. For flying out here, for the trust, for all of it. Ellen was my sister, your family. That's what family does. She looked at me seriously. The real kind of family, not the kind that steals from you. After everyone left, I sat in my recliner. The house was quiet again. But it was a different kind of quiet. Not empty, not lonely, just peaceful. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Dad, it's me. I know I'm not supposed to contact you, but I wanted you to know the money's being deducted from my paycheck. I got a job at a grocery store. It pays minimum wage, but it's something. I'm going to pay you back, every penny, even if it takes years. I'm sorry. I love you. Jessica. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, wanted to say something. But I remembered Judge Hartley's words, no contact unless I initiated it. I deleted the message. Maybe someday I'd reach out. Maybe someday I'd give her another chance. But not today. Not until I was sure she'd actually changed. Not until enough time had passed that I could trust her again, if that day ever came. I looked at Ellen's photo. You knew. You always knew. You protected me. Even now. Even after 31 years. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for loving me enough to see this coming. Thank you for making sure I'd be okay. The house was warm, the pantry was full, the property tax was paid, the furnace was getting fixed next week. I had money in the bank, food on the table, friends who cared. Everything was okay. Saturday morning, I woke up to knocking on my door. It was Father Thomas. Frank, can I come in? I have something to show you. I let him in. He was holding a folder of papers and photos. I wanted you to see what we're doing with Ellen's money, the food pantry expansion. He spread photos on my kitchen table, architectural drawings, plans for a new building. We're going to triple our capacity, serve 200 families a week instead of 50. We're adding fresh produce, meat, diapers for babies, everything people need. I looked at the drawings. A modern building with Ellen's name on a plaque out front. Ellen Caldwell Memorial Food Pantry. It's beautiful. Your wife's kindness is going to feed thousands of people, Frank. For years. Decades. That's her legacy now. He pulled out another document. And the UAW Hardship Fund? They're setting up scholarships for kids of plant workers. $5,000 a year for 10 kids. Every year. Because of Ellen. After he left, I sat with those photos, imagining families getting help. Ellen's name on that wall. My phone rang. Detective Brennan. Mr. Caldwell, Brandon's sentencing was yesterday. He got 4 years. The other victims testified. Their statements were powerful. Sunday, Coop called. Cookout at 4. You're coming. No arguments. At Coop's house, the backyard was full. Guys from the plant and their families. They welcomed me warmly. Leo handed me a beer. Ray brought food. Mrs. Patterson sat beside me. My daughter stole from me too, years ago. Drugs. I didn't press charges. Thought that's what mothers do. Her eyes were sad. She kept stealing until I had nothing left. I should have given her consequences. You did the right thing. Real love includes boundaries. I thought about what she said. Real love sometimes means letting people face results of their choices. That's what Ellen understood. Monday morning, Jennifer Wu from Channel 7 called. "We're doing a story on elder financial abuse. Would you be willing to do an interview?" I thought about other families going through this. Okay. That afternoon, we filmed on my porch. I told my story honestly. If someone you love is exploiting you financially, report it. Love doesn't mean letting someone hurt you over and over. Real love includes boundaries, includes consequences, press charges, get help, protect yourself. You deserve to be safe, even from family. The story went viral. Tuesday morning, Father Thomas showed me donations flooding in. $30,000 in 24 hours for the food pantry. The union called. $25,000 more for their hardship fund. We're naming it the Ellen Caldwell Memorial Hardship Fund. $55,000 because I told the truth. Then Patricia called. "Search for Jessica's name online." I found the article. Jessica's statement calling me a liar, saying I twisted the truth to steal her inheritance. "She's violating probation," Patricia said. "No contact order." Every comment was against Jessica, people calling her a liar after seeing the evidence. Thursday, Detective Brennan called. "Jessica's probation officer filed a violation. Hearing next week. Some people just don't learn." Friday, I got a letter from Jessica, handwritten, blaming me for everything, saying I controlled her whole life, that she took the money to break free. I called Patricia. She's blaming me for everything. That's Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Manipulators do it when caught. Burn it, right now. I burned the letter at the sink, watched her words turn to ash. It felt good. Saturday morning news showed Jessica being arrested for probation violation, screaming at cameras, fighting officers. Monday, we went to the violation hearing. Courtroom packed with media and people who'd followed the story. Jessica in orange jumpsuit, hair wild. She'd been crying for days. Judge Hartley was sharp. "Ms. Caldwell, you violated no contact twice. Public statement, letter. You attacked the victim publicly, sent him a letter blaming him, showed zero remorse. That's not emotional. That's manipulative." The prosecutor requested jail time. She has no intention of complying with probation terms. I agree. Judge Hartley signed papers. You had a chance. You could have served probation quietly. Instead, you chose to violate the court's order. I hereby revoke your probation. You will serve 18 months in the county correctional facility. "No, please, Your Honor, I can't go to jail," Jessica screamed, begging, falling apart. "You should have thought of that before. Officers, take Ms. Caldwell into custody." They led her away. She screamed my name. "Dad, Dad, please don't let them do this. I'm sorry. Daddy, please." The door closed. Silence. Judge Hartley looked at me. "Mr. Caldwell, what you did took real courage. Most victims don't press charges. You stood up. You said enough. Thank you for having the strength." Outside, Patricia hugged me. "It's done. Really done." "Yeah." Tuesday morning, Father Thomas and I watched construction begin on Ellen's food pantry. Bulldozers, workers,